In this video, we're going to be talking about prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. So yes, there are two types of cells, one being prokaryotic and the other being eukaryotic. Simple. However, eukaryotic is stuffed with many organelles. That's all the machinery it requires to work. They're a lot more complex than prokaryotic. An example of prokaryotic would be a bacterial cell. Prokaryotics do have organelles, however they seem to be a lot more smaller and more simplified, easier to study. But when we talk about organelles, think of them as organs in our body. They're allowing the system to work and function and to do their job separately for the whole organism. So when they talk about prokaryotic organisms or eukaryotic organisms, generally they're just talking about the cell. In this video, we won't be diving into the organelles, we'll be doing that in later videos. This video is just to show the two different types of cells and how they can differ, and even eukaryotic, how they can differ in different organisms. So, as eukaryotic cells are a bit more complicated than prokaryotic, we'll start there. Eukaryotic cells mainly consist of animal cell and a plant cell. The difference between these is mainly the organelles and the structure. The biggest difference between the eukaryotic plant cell is the cell wall. The cell wall doesn't exist on the animal cell. A lot of these organelles do exist in both of these eukaryotic cells. The biggest difference would probably be the chloroplast. And this is a big thing because this is what differs majorly from the energy sources. Chloroplasts have a vital role in collecting energy and synthesizing energy to pass to the mitochondrion. However, animal cells do have mitochondria, but they don't have the chloroplast. And the last major big difference in a plant cell is that they have vacuoles. Vacuoles kind of help maintain the water balance, but we can go into this in later videos. And then we go on to the prokaryotics. The prokaryotics are very different to the eukaryotics. They're a lot smaller, usually about 2 micrometers in diameter, compared to the eukaryotic cell, which is about 2 to 200 micrometers in diameter. Another big difference found in the prokaryotic cell is that the DNA is circular, as opposed to in the eukaryotic cells where it's linear and probably more tightly compact. Prokaryotics have no nucleus. The DNA is free to roam in cytoplasm, as opposed to the eukaryotic cells where it's housed and protected in the nucleus. Prokaryotics do have a cell wall, and it's mainly made of polysaccharides. Don't worry about that term at the moment. But not cellulose, as opposed to in the plant cell where it does have a cell wall, but that's made of cellulose. A good example of this is in, for example, sweet corn. Sweet corn doesn't digest in our body. Well, the inside of the sweet corn does, but not the outside. And the reason for this is that the outside is made of cellulose, and our body hasn't got the enzymes to break that down. And we did mention before in the eukaryotic cells, the animal and the plant cell had mitochondrion, which synthesizes energy, mostly in the form of glucose or simple sugars. So prokaryotic don't have any mitochondria, and they have very, very few organelles, which makes them that simplified organism. Very good to study as well in biology. And even the organelles that the prokaryotic does house, for example, the ribosomes. The ribosomes are a lot smaller as compared to the eukaryotic cell, where they're a lot bigger. So talking about eukaryotic and prokaryotic cells, a good fact for you is that there are more prokaryotic cells on the human body than what there is eukaryotic cells, and we are made up of eukaryotic cells. The reason why we do have a lot more prokaryotic cells because it's part of our ecosystem, so to speak. So think of the earth and the ecosystem. If there's an imbalance, that's when things can go wrong and you can get illnesses such as stomachache, skin rashes. So therefore, the human body, our bodies rely a lot on prokaryotic cells. So have you heard the term good bacteria? That tends to be what they refer to. Okay, this was just a quick session just to introduce you to prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. We will be diving further into separate videos, and especially on these organelles. Okay, so until next time.